Uh, Mulatto, or is it Lotto? Cause boy, I messed up the audio a lotto. But yeah, apparently she had a very underwhelming first week. Um, but even though she had a great rollout, Lotto had a great rollout, and I look at rollouts like toilet paper, ironically. Um, Sometimes you gotta let them toy with it. Kind of like my booty hole. Jeez. I really do have a weird obsession with booty holes recently. But yeah, mulatto. Underwhelming. Gotta just toy with it and let it happen. Welcome to episode 133 of the Off and Beat podcast. I'm your host, Clint Nelson. Don't forget to follow the pod on all apps and suck some titties. And it is 5:12 a.m. And the last time I was saying that, it was 2:44 a.m. But when you fuck up the audio, fun fact, this is my second time recording this episode, which is the first time that's ever happened like that. And the part that pisses me off is I really feel like it was like a top 5 episode I've ever done. And of course that would be the one where God's like, nah, Clint, the world's not ready for this. God forbid if I want you to blow up, I want you to thrive, I put you on this earth to thrive. But he's like, you're not ready yet. And I'm just going to make this process a little bit more taxing on you. And speaking of taxing, it is that time of year. The big old tax refund, yes. I'm not against taxes. I'm actually for taxes. I'm actually a big proponent of taxes. History has said that taxes are good. I'll tell you what I hate is I hate when I hear people say, I'm not an economist expert. There we go, Clint, you fucking cunt. I'm not an economist expert, but I do know that taxes are actually a necessity for a society to actually thrive. Is every one of your tax dollars being used? We all know. No. But it's funny how people get mad that, oh, I don't get all my taxes. You know what? We shouldn't get taxed. It's our money we work for. Well, you also understand, for one, if they didn't tax it, you wouldn't have gotten paid it anyways. Because they wouldn't pay you as much. Inflation, bitch. It's like they would just pay you less. And since you're getting the pure amount of money without the taxes and all that shit, that's what you would get. All right. So you know what? They're probably actually doing you a favor. Honestly, it's probably more of a money management tool. Fuck Paul Revere. The British are coming. The fucking taxes. They're here. They're coming. It's like the 3 rules of life. You always hear it's like death, taxes, and anal butt plugs. Because you just got to let the air out. All right? Air it out. Okay, Clint. But yeah. Taxes. Here is though, I guess, my question about tax refunds, right? Are really just filing your taxes as an individual member of society. Think about the process we go through. We get the W-2s in the mail, or you get it from your job. So the company you work for sends you the hours you worked, the amount of money you made, the taxes, the state, the federal, the deductibles, look how much you could have made, but you didn't. See? It's all about transparency here. But you weren't transparent when I applied for the job and said I would start at 13 an hour, and I started at 10. So I was always specific. Oh, so true. Poor people problems. But yeah, it literally tells you everything taken out, your gross pay, your deductibles, how many kids you have, how many kids you say you don't have. But my thing is, why do I have to take the information that is public to the IRS, to the government? Why don't they just send it to them and they do the work? And they could tell me if I get a refund or if I owe money, or even worse, neither. That's the most depressing part. Because if you're paying money for taxes, that probably means you made a lot of money. If you're getting a big refund, it probably means you don't make a lot of money. But why do I have to file something that is already filed? You, the employments of whatever your employment is, could just send that information, could just send your tax information to the IRS or to whatever distribution of tax place, H&R Block, Jackson Hewitt, Liberty Tax Income. It's like it starts becoming like the Asian Chinese place. This is be like tax source number 5. Can't we just get rid? Why do I have to pay $100+ ? Well, I guess you don't have to pay for taxes, but if you don't want, the IRS coming after you, and you want to make sure they're done right, and you don't want to be one of those douchebags like, oh, I file my own taxes because I'm so sophisticated. It's like, okay, you can't even change your girl's spare tire, but congrats, you can file some fucking taxes that are literally laid out for you and all that good shit. Spend an hour and a half of your time filling out a fucking tax form. You know what? I'll pay the $90, $100+, and just have a woman that it's her second job. It's her, I'm a retired military. I'm bored. I'll file these dumbasses taxes. Are you supposed to tip your tax person? I feel like you should. There's a lot on the line. But why? Why do we as the individuals have to file something that you already have on file? I can understand like a business, because like a business, there's more at stake. A business, there's a lot more money, and there could be a lot of different type of claims. You made this off this, but maybe this, that, and the other. But my $30,000 I'm going to make from my job, it's not changing the world. It's not a whole lot of money to keep up with. All right, let's not overdo it here. It's not really a whole lot to keep up with. You can see the $5,600 that was taken out of my checks. Why can't you guys just transfer it and do it? The only reason why you would want to give us the option to do it ourselves is just a chance, like a credit card payment, we just might not do it on time. And then you get off the interest. Yeah. Because there's no logical reason to trust us citizens to flood these tax places a week and a half before the quote-unquote deadline that they never seem to actually go by the deadline. It always seems to magically extend. It's almost like there's no real deadline. It's almost like, hey, please pay money so you can pay more money. So even when we do get back money, there's a differential where everything evens out. When it's funny how they made taxes a business within a business. You don't find that interesting? I find it interesting. I also think another fucking dumb thing is that when you file your taxes, if you worked multiple jobs, let's say you work 2 jobs in the given year, so you're going to have 2 W-2s, right? You work 2 jobs, you're just trying to make it out here, you're just trying to get by, and you're just trying to grind and get through it. And then what do? Thanks for all the grinding, but we're going to charge you another W-2 fee because you work 2 jobs. And God forbid if we have to type 9 more digits of fucking numbers, because the second job, you're not going to make as much as the first job, hence your second. Second, it'll still be a part-time job, or it's still be a job you're going to make slightly less than. Like, no one works 2 jobs where you get paid the same amount. Because otherwise, you would just work the one job and just get more hours of that job and pay it. But, tax returns. Talk about a way like, hey, thanks for trying hard out here, but we're going to make it where you have to try a little harder. Because but hey, we'll give you $20 off the second W-2. We're nice people. But yeah, it just seems an unnecessary thing. And like I said, I am okay with taxes. I've been conditioned from a young age. Like, what am I going to do? Am I going to protest we should not get taxes taken out, and then they actually pass a law to not get taxes taken out? Like, no. Because honestly, you wouldn't want that. Because you know what they're going to do? Hey, that 15 that you feel is the minimum demand, well, without taxes, you can make the same making 12 an hour. Oh, but without those taxes, it's going to be a little hard to distribute this and that, and they're going to make bullshit excuses. And then guess what? You're back to square one, you unemployed fuck, okay? But, and also, maybe next time, like last year, government, if you were going to give stimulus checks to people, why don't you ask if you actually want it? See if hey, are you okay with the pros and cons of taking this stimulus check? Because I don't want to find out like last year when I filed my taxes. And by the way, they didn't even give me a heads up. She waited till she called me after and be like, this how much? I was like, that don't make sense. Like, oh yeah, by the way, those stimulus checks that you didn't ask for, that the government just gave to you, and it felt good to get them. By the way, yeah, they're going to be factored into your taxes, and we're going to kind of replenish some of that differential over the next couple years. So really, you're probably not going to get much of a return for the next couple years. Because one, you're the lowest common denominator of a fuck when it comes to income tax brackets. But secondly, because this thing you didn't ask for, and you didn't have a choice of whether you wanted it or not, regardless if you made $8,000 a year or $150,000 a year, they deposit into your account. When really what they should have done, in hindsight, is ask like, hey, here's a stimulus check. Here's the option to if you want it or you don't. Here's the pros and cons if you take it. Here's the pros and cons if you don't. If you don't take it, it's not going to be factored in your taxes and you'll get a normal return or whatever. But if you do take it, it will be factored. Chances are people still would have took it, most people, because in the moment, it's nice to have a little extra money. If you were in the midst of losing a business, even though $1,200 or $1,400 ain't going to do much to really change shit. But hey, it'll at least put a smile on your face when I deposit your account. But at least give me the choice. That's all I want. I just want the choice to say yes or no. Don't give me something I don't want. Or don't give me something that I haven't even made a decision if I wanted. it just and maybe being a tax person, being a tax expert, a tax-pert, jeez, a tax-pert. Who needs sexperts when you got tax-perts? Okay. It's really just like a seasonal job. Like, it's like peak season for them. Like they basically work extremely fucking crazy for like 2 months, and the rest of the year they're dealing with people who just actually don't know how to handle their taxes. So they actually, shit. We're dealing with these people who file for bankruptcy again. Fuck. Instead of just some dumbass like me that's like, you're coming to me to manage less than $30,000. It's like, hey, this year was less than $20,000. Unemployed for 3 months. Wow, aren't you pathetic? Fuck. It's like, yeah, and I'm paying you with that pathetic fucking money. So, keeping you in business. It just seems that why, like, the middleman could be done. Like, I'm not trying to be the everything is so, well, we got to be so new with everything. We got to be different just to be different. But god damn it. Can we at least fucking just shorten the process? And honestly, and you want to know the fucked up thing that I actually found out? I found out by listening to a podcast. It was from some shit. I don't remember if it was a podcast, but probably it was. That's 90% of anything I consume these days. Is that you're not, just because you pay a quote unquote expert does not mean you are protected if they don't file your taxes right. Because one thing about the IRS is they're going to come get their shit regardless. They don't care if you're on food stamps, and they don't care if you own food stamps, okay? They don't care if you own the food of the people with food stamps. And they don't care if you can't even qualify for food stamps because you are that low of a common denominator in their system. They're coming to get their shit. And just because you pay someone to do your taxes, if shit hits the fan, they're coming after you. You're not necessarily protected. Now, typically, tax companies, if they do fuck up, or tax collectors, I should say, if they do fuck up, typically they will recorrect it, do for free, and take care of it, right? But they don't have to. And you are still liable for your taxes. That's why it is important for you to be able to know shit. Now, someone that don't know shit, I hope that never happens to me. And honestly, when you don't have a lot of money, they may just like, we'll get around to it. But I don't know. It's I'm not too worried about, what's I just hope that with taxes, I just hope we get to a place where when you file your taxes, there's not this stigma of, man, that sucked. Filing your taxes shouldn't be something that I have to worry about. Like, you have my information, not to go back and circle around but you have my information. It's almost like you want to see if I tell you the answer you already know. It's like if my woman finds out I fucked her sister or her mother. I don't know why it has to be if she finds out I, was DMing the ladies on the IGs. It's like you already have the screenshots. You already hacked into my passwordless phone. Like, you just want to see if I'm going to lie to you. So then you can make yourself feel like you're, like you won. So you can prove that I'm just this lying, deceitful piece of shit. And you could throw the key under the cell and paint me as a negative picture. Arrest me. I'm in the news. You can blast me on social media for being a bum-ass guy. And that's what the IRS is. They just want to see, are you going to tell us the truth? Are you going to lie to us? Because lying's always worse. Don't lie. Might as well tell the truth. It's like, I don't know. Lying has gotten me pretty far. I'm just, it's frustrating because I have to take time out of my day. I have to collect my shit. I have to remember a fucking policy number every fucking year that I have to research every fucking time. Go there, drop it off, get a phone call the next day to talk about how much money I did not make and how much of it I'm not getting back. All because I'm a productive member of society. Now look, it's better to file your taxes, get it over with, and move on with your day. Just so it's one less thing to worry about. But it's just the fact that it's something to worry about. Because the ramifications of not doing it are pretty damning. When you can just go to the employers, they can send you the shit. They literally have all the information you need. All the numbers came from them. Get it from them. It's unfucking believable. You know, and it's nothing against the tax ladies or the tax men. You know, they're always nice people. But for most of them, it's not their primary job. Like, I've talked to a few tax people that have gone. They're like, yeah, like they have their degree of certificate on the wall, but then they have their actual degree of what they got. Like, it'll be sociology majors, psychology. It'll be like some fucking marketing type of shit. And it's like, oh yeah, by the way, I can do taxes. And they admittedly like, yeah, like this is like, they either do it as a secondary out of boredom job when they're retired from their main thing, so it just gives them something to do. Or it's just somewhere it's like, it pays better than what I was originally doing. And I would assume if you work for the government, you're going to get governmental benefits. Otherwise, why the fuck do you want to take care of other people's money? Like, imagine, like, you're in charge of a bunch of other people's money. And they're like, yeah, here's 18, 19 hours to file those taxes. Maybe they could pay bonuses and shit. I'm pretty sure they do. God. I hate doing the same take twice. This is why the first take is always the best, because it's always in the moment. You get real emotional and you're not recreating some shit. I try to keep it fresh, but I did my best. God, I hate re-recording episodes because goddamn, it was so fucking good. Speaking of, it felt so fucking good. You know, I was actually revisiting some of the Jada Pinkett and August stuff. And I was going through a little bit of a YouTube rabbit hole, of course, right? I guess that's what they call it. What I found the most fascinating, and when you really, in memory, this shit is a lot more fucked up than we like to make it. Because, you know, with the whole Will Smith Jada shit, like, the way we look at it now is just like, oh, she fucked August and all this shit, right? Cool. Well, not cool, but cool. When you really look at how fucking problematic and really fucked up the situation itself was, it changes the light. It really changes your perspective on what you really take from the Smiths. One, let's get one thing out of the clear. No one would give a single goddamn fuck if she had an entanglement with fucking Tate Donovan. You don't know who Tate Donovan is? Let me tell you. He's the guy who voiced Hercules. No one gives a fuck, right? And you wouldn't either. Without Will Smith, this whole thing doesn't even fucking matter. Alright? And if we're going to really keep it real, Will Smith is the reason why anyone even gives a fuck about her. Will Smith could have the same situation with like a Tyra Banks, and this shit would be humongous still. You would think that someone... Fuck it, this podcast sucks. But we're going to keep going. I legitimately thought about quitting it right there in the middle. God, that fucking audio shit really fucking pissed me off. God damn it, Clint. But yeah, look. When you really revisit, when I was re-listening to the podcast, when I was revisiting this situation, Joe Budden specifically, when they revisited the Red Table Talk, she's talking about August as this Michael Myers Halloween mentally so fucked up. Like if he walks into the $30 million mansion and he's not on suicide watch, he's going to jump off the third story of the building and just head stomp by the poolside, right? That's the way she was. We didn't think he was going to make it. And you brought him into your home, a dude who is mentally fucked up, has mental situations, cool, whatever. And you're like, we're going to help him out. You know what? Fine. Trying to help the boy out. Trying to help the young guy out. And then the way you reward and the way you try to help his mental health is by getting him attached to you, getting him emotionally attached to you, physically attached to you, changing your brakes out because he is destroying the brakes at every 3 feet. He's like, just fucking you up. And you let this man get attached emotionally, physically, intimately, in every facet of the way. And then in the process, you acknowledge that this is not good for her. This is not someone I'm going to be with and all that shit. And you don't just lay the mentally, emotionally dude down slowly. A guy you took in. A guy that you didn't have to fuck, by the way, but you did. And you just cut him off like that. You abandon him. And you recreate all the issues he had coming into you. No pun intended. Probably created more issues when he came into you. Oh, Jesus. It's been August since Alsina. Okay. Not to mean be jaded. And we wonder why the dude is really fucked up. And I think it actually, you want to talk about predatory. I think it's beyond actually predatory behavior. It's actually, honestly, it's deceitful. And it really shines a light of how casual and the lack of awareness when she's talking about it. And that she really does not give a fuck of what she caused him. And she does not give a fuck of what she caused Will. I think it really says she does not give a fuck about what she does and how it affects others. And I know people are going to say, well, it's not one person's responsibility to care what someone else thinks. Like, oh, really? It's not? It's not your responsibility to care about your husband and what he thinks of 25 plus years. It's not your responsibility to care about your son's best friend that you emotionally took in, that you didn't have to fuck, that you ended up fucking, and you knew he had issues, and you compound those issues by abandoning the same abandonment issues that you had coming in. You feel no guilt over that, but yet you want to, quote unquote, be the help, thinking because you're in a powerful position of being, quote unquote, the Smiths, which I also don't think it's coincidence when someone who is a celebrity or is a power typically wouldn't take the last name of someone. Yet she made sure to make sure everyone still refers to her as Jada Pinkett Smith because she understands the power of having Smith attached to her name. Not saying she's a nobody. I'm in no position to call no one that. What I am saying is I think she's very well aware of what having his name to hers does for her. But I digress. The predatory behavior with her is, I think, very problematic in really ways I don't think people understand. I am not of the belief, like Joe Budden said, that I think when Joe Budden and Maul, when they're discussing it, Joe's view was he felt a lot of sympathy for the mental and taken advantage of. Men can be taken advantage of, and this is a great example of that behavior. And Maul, on the other hand, back when Rory and Maul were on the show, because I was watching clips from literally a year ago when all this shit was coming out in real time. And Maul was like, I don't believe a man could be taken advantage of by a woman. I don't think a man could be taken advantage of. And although it makes you scoff at it for a second, but if we're going to be honest, I kind of agree with the same. I don't think a man in general, sexually, intimately, really anyway, can really be physically taken advantage of from a woman when it comes to having sex. At the end of the day, you have more power to say no and not feel as in a compromising position. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear that because we're in this mental health, everything could be taken advantage of. Well, honestly, if you're that mentally fragile and emotionally, you probably shouldn't be intimate with just about anyone, to be honest, because there's a can of worms when you're intimate with someone emotionally and the ramifications of the ultimate prize. Babies. Because you'll always be my baby. August. That's why most babies, the most babies are actually born in August. Fun fact. Christmas is a hell of a time of the year. Thanks for the giving, as I was stuffing her turkey leg. Okay, Clint. That's why she's always sleeping with that stanky leg. But when you really look at it, it exhibits a behavior that is very unfortunate. And that the more and more I think about it, at first I felt I never felt sympathy for August. And I sure as hell didn't feel sympathy for Jada. And I did feel a lot for Will. But as time has gone on, I have felt more sympathy for August. Because he is actually the one, when you break it down. Will is being the most embarrassed publicly. even though he's the reason why that name, the Smiths, the family goals, remember when they were the family goals before all this shit came out? It's like, yeah, I wouldn't say they're family goals now. And well, all their kids are successful, all this, like, you know what? You can have all the successful kids you want. I don't give a fuck. If that's goals, I'm good. Imagine creating a whole family structure, all that success, everything you worked for, and your wife can't even respect to keep shit private. Like certain things, like, all right, you know what? You could be open. This is your show. This is your shit. Cool. But you wouldn't have that Facebook show if you weren't married to me, if we're going to keep it real. And I don't want to make it be like, oh, well, just because a man provided for you, then he should trap you. That's not what we're saying here. I think it's pretty obvious that if she wasn't married to Will Smith, she knows exactly that Facebook would not have paid her a shitload of money to have a red table talk. Let's be honest about it. Let's not act like being part of this empire that he has created, being a part of, and it seems she lacks the simple ability to respect those boundaries. To not even keep their personal shit remotely behind any door. And August is honestly the butt of all the jokes when you really break it down, because as time goes on, I do kind of feel bad for him. Like, this is a young man, and he's like, this is one of those things, it's going to change everything about him. His abandonment issues are on 10. Everything that he viewed has become skewed. He really probably fell in love with this woman, and she knew she did not love him one bit. Which, you know what? That's normal. You know what? What are you going to do? But, and the fact that he's the one that's left out in the cold from all this. But he's the one that needed to stay out of the cold the most. Because as damaged as Will is, Will survive. And he'll be a different person, but he'll be fine. Because he's already succeeded in everything he needs to. But August, on the other hand, he's still young and still trying to get to a certain point that he probably feels a lot of that has been stunted. In this situation, as much as people say like the slap ruined Will Smith's career, it's like people a year from now forget that. Every time someone thinks of August, he's literally just going to be the guy who was caught in the middle of the bullshit terms that says absolutely nothing, like Entanglement. I got caught in a swirl, an Entanglement. And if you really look back at the 13-minute red table talk where they didn't really actually get into anything, we'll just sitting there like, Jada, no, what is it? So what really happened? And she said, well, I was just in a time in my life where I wasn't happy. I was confused. Okay. So, I got into a thing. Oh, Jesus. And they just start, when you start saying those half-complete, incomplete sentences, where you're not saying anything, but you're saying enough to say something, but you're not saying anything, it's just like, what the fuck happened? It's like, well, things happen. Oh, okay. Well, that clears it up. But I do, I don't believe he got taken advantage of, in the sense of he still got the reward, but at the same time, he's the one that's going to be probably the most damaged from it. So yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of other stuff about that shit, but I kind of forgot it. One thing on my spot that I always go to, I saw something interesting for all the wrong reasons. I saw a 20-year-old girl, approximately, with a 70-year-old man who looked like a combination of the Appalachian Mountains, the guy with the shovel on Home Alone, and a wife beater, though. Except he didn't look like he was given much wisdom because he probably lives in a tent. And a guy who it makes sense why he would have to pick young, impressionable people. Because I think about when I was 19 or 20, right? I was thinking about this when I saw it. One, it's creepy as fuck. It's cringe. I don't care what people say. I'm okay with age gaps. Love, don't judge, but I'm judging the fuck out of some of this shit. Because when someone's with someone and it's not even for the reasons that make sense for why someone want to be with the older individual. Oh, they're set. I don't have to worry about growing with someone. I could just skip the line and get this and that. Like, cool, money, just stability, all this shit, fine. Except this guy, not exactly what I would call stable. Not exactly what I would call benefits. Except maybe he's got like some good Sensodyne toothpaste, I guess. I don't know. It's creepy as fuck because if you really think that, oh, well, 19 when they met, probably all this shit, and they were very close. She had her chin on his shoulder, showing him a video, and they were getting very touchy, and it's like, this is weird as fuck. It's weird watching people kiss in public, honestly, or really be like that close, intimate type of shit. But especially when you're basically watching like pedophilia. Because if you really think 18 or 19 is like when a guy like that would wait to be with a girl that young, no, he would have been with her if she was 13. It's not like you're moral conscious like 17 and 320 days. Get away from me. Never. And then second year 18. Hey there. It's like, oh, so 3 more weeks and you can toy with my paper. Okay. No. There's a lot of connections, let's just say. There's a lot of creepiness, and it honestly, I wouldn't even say it pisses me off. I will judge the fuck out of it, though. I think the thing about with age gaps, right? I think I always look at the older person with the side eye. Because I can understand why a young person would be very impressionable by, honestly, the bare minimum of what someone of that age should probably have. Like, yeah, I expect a 52-year-old person to have a place of their own. I do. If you don't, I mean, yeah, that's sad. But they know the slightest things are very impressionable to young people. And more than likely, of women their age or men their age, whoever they're into, whoever it is, whoever they're into, is that the people they want to attract probably don't look at them as a viable option for a lot of different reasons. Maybe because they actually see through the bullshit. And typically when you're dealing with someone with kids, things to lose, maybe a previous family of their own, responsibilities, they're not super impressed because, hey, I got a good credit score. It's like, Congrats. Hey, I got a pretty nice pad. It's like, great. I've used 3 pads in the past week on my JJ. There's, to me, where the judgment comes from me is the fact that I think when I was 20 years old, if some lady would have came up to me and be like, hey, you're a fine little stud muffin. Would you like to crumble your muffin in my face every other night? You know, I would like to think I would be like, you know what? No, because I'm a man. I want to get on my own. I have self-value, worth, and all that shit. But then I think about it like this. Today, if that was asked to me, would I entertain it? Because let's be honest, it was probably a sugar daddy situation, but based off his looks and what he didn't look like he have a whole lot to offer, I'd say more sugar-free daddy. Okay, Clint. I think if it was offered me today, with all my maturity and all my growth and my ability to take care of myself mostly as is, if they were to offer me extra $2,000 a month, here's extra $500 a week to match what you make, and you can be set free, pay off shit. I want to make your life easier, honey, because I love you. I love you. You know what? I like to think no, but I can't say no either. Because even though I'm not a very impressionable person, I'm not impressed by a whole lot. I certainly, who am I to turn it down? And I come from parents. I come from families like, where I think a lot of people that are into that crazy age gap, they typically come from families that are kind of not present, dysfunction, inconsistencies growing up and things. So I think they seek something that's more than just a partner. They're seeking, quote unquote, guidance and shit and wisdom. That honestly, you're not really going to find wisdom from someone that's into people who can't return wisdom. Because part of wisdom is to gain knowledge, not just to spread knowledge. And what are you going to get from a 19-year-old girl? But, I don't know. Age gap shit, like the extreme age gap shit is weird to me. Because to me, it's this weird thing that we societally accept, and I really think the people that try to justify it is because they want to benefit from it a lot. And it's a weird way to, it's legal. We always hide behind it's legal. Yeah, I don't give a fuck. If it feels weird, it looks weird, and it makes you uncomfortable watching it, there might be a reason. And I don't know, maybe it's a me problem. But I think it's a lot of people problem. But yeah, I don't know. So I was at QuikTrip last night, trying to exuberate the Taco Bell, here comes the Taco Barrel going down the Taco Barrel. I like to treat myself, as they say. And when I treat myself, I go to Taco Bell, right? But by the way, 5-layer burrito, it always comes in every fucking featured box they have. It's never layered. It's never layered properly. Sometimes it's missing layers. Sometimes there's a shitload of fucking refried beans and like a slab of cheese and then no sour cream, and they accidentally drop some tomatoes in there. And sometimes it has a proportional amount of cheese, sour cream, lettuce, and a lot more sour cream. But neither here nor there. So I go to Taco Bell, get the box. Not talking about Jada's. Okay, Clint. Because this will make your red table talk with period. So I get the box. And of course, it comes with the drink. Get a free upgrade. Because, I'm that guy. So I get my shit. And as I'm driving out, I realize, fuck. I didn't get a straw. Dun, 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 dun. I didn't get a straw. But the line, I was like, I'm not getting back in line and waiting 20 minutes to get a fucking straw. Whatever. I'll go across the QuikTrip. There's a QuikTrip across the street. You know what QuikTrip has? Conveniency. They have straws. When the QuikTrip decide, well, fuck it. Since I'm here, I'm going to get some Ghost Energy drinks. I'm going to get 2 of them. So I got 2 Ghost Energy drinks. Went by the condiment, the little section with the straws, the lids and shit. And guess what I got? I got 1 single straw. Cool. Things are going according to plan. Get to the register, cash out, boom, $4.59. Would you like a bag? Throw it in the bag. So I get it. I grab it, say, have a great night. He says, you as well. Have the bag, and I have the straw in my hand. And as I'm walking out, things are going do. And then there's this 5'9", 180-pound mixed guy, Latino. Not Latina, this is for the ladies. Latino, I guess. And this man said, like, hey, a straw for your energy drinks? That's weird. And you know what? In my head, I agree. Straws and cans are dumb anyways. It's simply some women do to protect their lipstick. Understandable. Even though I think it's dumb. Understandable. It's kind of weird though how you're worried about putting your lips on aluminum, people are, because they're worried about cancer shit. But you're not worried about the liquid you're consuming through the straw. Through a plastic straw, by the way. That's going to cause you cancer. But what do I know? And so as I was walking out and he says that to me, I was kind of thrown back. And I was like, no, it's not. I get in it because Taco Bell across the street forgot my straw for my cup. So I thought, wow, fine, whatever. End of that, got past it. And he snarkily responds, yeah, sure it is. So then I said, well, fuck you. I didn't know how to explain to a stranger sitting by the crusty fucking donuts at 12:05 p.m. or a.m. I should say, at the QuikTrip. And you're just sitting there with your dumbass FUBU shirt, which I haven't seen anyone wear a fucking FUBU shirt since like 2008, when you get leftover shit at Goodwill. And you're sitting there at the QuikTrip like you're a fucking cop sitting overnight making sure weird shit doesn't happen at QuikTrip, which to protect the employees and everyone involved, understandable. But you are sitting here critiquing and ironically getting on my last straw about me having a fucking straw. Like, fuck you. Honestly, fuck off. And you know what? Let's say hypothetically the straw was for the energy drinks. Is it going to fuck up your day? You really think you're changing the world? You really think you're different? You know what? I have a newsflash for you. You know how much I don't give a fuck about straws? And how much I actually don't even give a fuck for it? When I go out to places, public restaurants, I don't give a fuck if it's the Marietta Fish Market with the cup, the 18 people with genital herpes in their fucking mouth, with canker sores, eating ass. You got astrophilia, which is basically when you eat ass and you like swell up in the face. I'll take the risk and drink dry out of the cup. Because I'm that guy. I'm not going to wait 8 minutes for the straw if they forget to put it on the table to begin with. I'm drinking my tea, baby. Don't sit here. If I'm willing to do that, what makes you think I'm putting a fucking straw in my Ghost energy drink? Some people just can't seem to mind their own fucking business. You know, it just, ironically, I guess you call it a straw man's argument. Okay, Clint. I just can't fathom some people. I really can't. I can't fathom that this guy is so up my ass that he wants to stick that straw and slurp it out of my asshole. Because with all the shit he was streaking, it's the only logical explanation. Now, there are things about this situation that really triggered something for me. Is that when someone questions my motive, and in this situation, the biggest thing about it is, ironically, the conveniency of this place that I need at this point in time, because it's a convenience store, essentially. It's caused because of the inconvenience of what Taco Bell is typically convenient about. Can a man just enjoy conveniency? Does everything have to have a roadmap? Does everything have to have a speed bump, a stopgap, like a boom mic stand where we're missing the fucking thing, where I can't just tie it in and screw it in and actually start shit? No, let's buy a whole integral set, but not have the whole fucking set. And I gotta go out and find a separate part for something that's all supposed to come together. But no. They miss the straw. Fine. I find a way to make it happen. I go and find another straw. At my conveniency. I'm sorry, my conveniency is your inconvenience that was a prior inconvenience to me, and you're playing victim because you have to see the inconvenience being brought to convenience for your inconvenience. Like, fuck you. Like, you know, like everyone wastes convenient products. Like, have you ever seen people like get shit at a place and then there's like mayo packets and they put 9 in the bag, but you're at Long John Silver's? No one uses mayo on fish, but it's an option. Throw it in the bag. And guess what they do? They take it home, stuff it in the drawers, just in case one day they get a platter, you know, fucking sub platter tray for like a graduation party from Publix. And just in case you need to, you know, add a little sogginess to your bread. You know what? Mind your damn business. People waste products all the fucking time. And you're worried about a fucking flimsy straw from Like I've taken plastic forks when I've gotten hot dogs before. Just 'cause it was there. The fucking This is literally the straw that broke the camel's back. And I fucking hate myself. Because this podcast sucked ass. And you know what? Why it sucked ass? Because I tried to recreate it when I should have not. I should have just done a completely different pod, different topics, whatever happens, happens. And I tried to recreate it and it fucked me in the ass. And I fucking hate it. I fucking hate it because I'm such a fucking idiot because I had the fucking knob all the way at the fucking bottom. Everything else is perfect, but when you're experimenting with audio, you just say fuck it. And that's the problem. I say fuck it too much. And I should have told that dude fuck it. And next time I see a 20-year-old with a 70-year-old, I'm going to 70-year-old and I'm going to say fuck it. I'm going to say you're a fucking creep. And next time, and when I give my Tax-Perts $120 and just say fuck it, I hope you get it right. And next time I'm in an entanglement, I'm just going to say fuck it. And literally, fuck it. All right? Fuck it. The name of this podcast is Fuck It. And that's episode 133. You know why I ended there? Because fuck it. All right? Follow the pod on all apps. Suck some titties. I hate this episode because it's not even 20% of how good the original was. God, spontaneity is a beautiful thing. And this is why I don't plan podcasts, because when I try to do an organization order, I get stunted in my shit. I start repeating shit. And guess what? And I just continue and say fuck it. Because I almost quit at the 28-minute mark, honestly. I remember exactly how many minutes where I looked down, I'm like, I'm just going to hang this one up and try again tomorrow. But you know what? I need my episodes for the week. This episode is going to suck, and that's fine. You know what? Episodes are going to suck. But when it sucks because you originally had the good one and it got away, like the one that got away, and literally the reason why it got away is because of a fucking knob. And I'm a fucking knob. I'm a noob. All right? And camera's about to go out. My life sucks. I hate myself. Someone punched me in the neck just so I can feel something. Put down your tax return because this podcast was taxing. You know why? Because fuck it. Jeez.